guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Zay and today I'm going to be recommending sweet and swoony romances that are perfect for spring. I have been in my soft girl era pretty much the first quarter of the year, honestly, and I've been reading like mainly these kind of books, and if I'm being honest with you guys, I think that I'm going to start sprinkling in some gritty romances because that's kind of what I'm moving towards, just kind of naturally. But I think it kind of makes sense, like after the holidays and stuff like that, like you're just like slowing down, and I think it's just like a natural progression for me of romances that I think are perfect for the springtime. Now these books don't necessarily take place during the spring. Some do, and some of these books will absolutely give you those vibes from the cover of the book, but a lot of these just have more like soft romances is the way that I made up my own category. These are those books. So I just kind of want to say in advance, check your trigger warnings on these books. Some of these books have some triggering content that could affect you, so always do your due diligence there. And I'm going to be sharing my spring TBR as well. I have about 8 books I'm going to be recommending and like 8 books that I have on my spring TBR for you guys. So we're going to go over those very quickly at the end of the video. But without further ado, let's just get right into the books because we have 8 books to get through. All right, so we're going to start. If you guys read any books on this list, it should be this one, okay? Like, this is one of my favorite romance books of all time, and that is Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. Now, when this video comes out, this book has been re-released. It was picked up by a publisher, traditional publisher, and it has been re-released with a gorgeous new cover that I'll put here. Love this book, you guys. This is my first book that I read by Hannah, and I fell in love with it. And if you like Out on a Limb, you will absolutely like this. If you like Beau, you will love Mess with this man, I promise you, because he is absolute perfection. But this book fits the bill perfectly, in my opinion. Sweet and swoony, but this book also has a lot of heart and also has a lot of layers and depth to the story as well. There's a lot of things that Hannah talks about in this book that could be triggering, such as grief. Grief is a really big discussion in this book because our heroine lost her father. Let me tell you guys what this book is about. So in this book, we're following Lane. Lane is in this period in her life where she feels very lost. Her friends are in like serious relationships and happy, and they're doing well in their careers, and Lane is lacking in both of those areas in her life. She's just really struggling. She feels like she has no direction, and like I said, she's just feeling very lost. It's her birthday. On her birthday, she makes an impulsive decision to buy a bus so she can live in that bus and renovate the bus and live in it. So she asks her friend Matt to help her go get this bus. So Matt drives with her, and Matt is her best friend. Okay, and on this journey, on this little road trip, they learn some things about their friendship, and they kind of start this friends with benefit situation. But Lane is very much in denial that this is more than a friendship, and she is fighting her feelings. Earlier, she lost her dad when she was young, and she blames her stepfather, and this has really just kind of caused her to put her life on pause, and she just really struggles, and as a result of this, it bleeds into the other areas of her life. So we're kind of seeing those effects of her not, you know, kind of coping with her grief in a healthy way. And Matt is such a sweet hero. Oh my gosh, I loved him so much. He is absolutely wonderful. He is patient with her and understanding. He is in love with her, and he has been in love with her, but Lane is she's late to the party. Okay, she has not arrived yet, but Matt has been waiting. It is absolutely beautiful, and I just really was fighting. Like, I wanted Lane to just find her happily ever after because she really did deserve it. And this is just such a beautiful story, such a relatable story for anyone who's kind of feeling lost and whatever in your life. And this is just kind of Lane having to really come to grips with everything that she's gone through and find a healthy way to deal with this. And she's falling in love in the process. But I love this book. Matt and Lane are just forever in my heart. This is Hannah's, I think she said this is her like least read book and her least popular book, and that's crazy. Like, this is honestly tied with Out on a Limb, okay, for me as being a favorite. So if you liked Out on a Limb, you will absolutely love Next to You. But if you just want like a soft and sweet and very romantic and swoony romance, look no further than Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. I have a book that is a recent release, and that is Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. This is book 2 in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. This is a small town cowboy romance series. This series actually recently got picked up to be adapted into a television show, which is amazing, exciting. I cannot wait to see this series come to life. But this book is so perfect. It fits the bill perfect for this time of year. Following Ada, she is a city gal, okay, through and through. She actually failed her interior design program, and now she's kind of on her own trying to figure out, you know, what she's going to do. But she really enjoys this line of work, and she actually gets an opportunity to kind of help with some renovations at a ranch, and she ends up at Rebel Blue Ranch, and her and our hero Weston have a great meet cute, okay, at a club. And the next day she finds out that he is the person, basically her boss, okay, and she's gonna be working with him on the renovations on the ranch. She got out of a marriage not too long ago, and she is just like, no, and she has so many like aspirations and dreams and goals that she wants to do, and settling down in a small town with with a cowboy is not really what she had in mind. But this book is very much giving Black Cat and Golden Retriever vibes, which sets up the tone for this kind of book very well. Lila Sage writes very soft romances that I just absolutely love. They're fun, they're steamy, and they're just like quick. This is like a quick read. But if you have not read this book, and if you haven't read the first one, that's totally fine. You can jump right into this one, make appearances, but it's okay. But I love this book. I really, really enjoyed it when I read it, and I'm excited for the next installment in the series. But if you want something that's soft and swoony, then Swift and Saddled is perfect for you. So moving on to Head Over Heels by Carla Sorensen. This is another new release that came out this year. This book is also book 2 in a series, but you can absolutely read it as a standalone. I do think you'll get more payoff if you read it, but it's fine. You absolutely do not have to. This is a great place to start, and I loved this book, you guys. Following Cameron and Ivy. So Ivy grew up with just her dad, okay? Her mom died when she was quite young. And so because of this, she has an interesting dynamic with her father. She has done everything her father has ever asked her to do as far as what she wants to study and who she even ends up with. Her dad has arranged for someone for her to marry. This person would just fit in with her very well. He wants her to take over his company. This person would be a really great fit for her. And so she's actually at a fitting for her wedding, and she just can't do it. Like, she just has this moment. She runs out and she just feels so trapped, okay? And she runs into, and she goes into an elevator where our hero Cameron is also in there, and they get stuck in an elevator together. Her and Cameron have this intense, instant kind of connection, and they start talking about things with each other. They share very intimate moments together, okay? This is definitely like, I love getting stuck in an elevator scene. We don't get a lot of them these days, but this one was chef's kiss, really good. It was spicy and it was excellent. And then anyway, they get rescued out of the elevator, and she goes back to her dad. Her dad is really, really pissed off at her. And he's like, look, I can't really trust you. I feel like you need to show me that I can trust you, and that you can be trusted to take over the company, and that you are loyal to me. And so her mom has some property, okay? And he's like, look, I want you to renovate this property, sell it. If you do this, then that'll show that you can make good decisions and that you can be trusted. And we'll talk about you kind of what the next steps are for you. So she goes and she does this, and the person that she's going to be working, the company that she's going to be working with to do the renovations is Cameron's family's own business. So she's going to be spending a lot of time with the man that she made out with in the elevator. And his parents also live like in the same neighborhood as where her house is getting renovated. So there's a lot of forced proximity, but Cameron and Ivy fall really hard for each other, but their lives are just completely different. And Ivy is going to leave. So their relationship or their little benefit situation has a time limit, okay? And or else, you know, Ivy will have to make the decision to not have this relationship with her father anymore. The only like family that she really has, but she's falling in love with this man and his family as well. So gosh, this book is really great, very beautiful. Carla Sorensen writes the best family dynamics. Like she just does such a good job. Her books are very cozy and just really easy to read, and her writing style is really enjoyable, and it's honestly always, I can always count on her to write a pretty good, a decent, solid book. And this one is very emotional. There's a lot going on with Cameron's family, and you just feel very connected to the family and the romance at the same time. That's developing so beautifully. So if you want this kind of romance, Carla Sorensen, first of all, writes a lot of soft and swoony romances, but this one in particular just really was beautiful, and I really connected and loved it so much. So next we have Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly. I always want to say Something Wild and Beautiful, but that is not the name of this book. So this book, it came out last year, and this is my first book by this author, and I loved it. A very beautiful, emotional story, and I enjoyed all the complexities with this romance. So our hero, Alexi is hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, and on this trail he comes across Ben, our hero Ben, and Ben and Alexi run into each other, and then they decide that they're going to actually do this journey, go on this journey together. So both of these characters have their reasons for why they're both doing this, which we learn as you're reading the book. And you know, there's an ending, right, to this, because they both, once they hit their trail, they'll go back to where they live and back to their life. They have such a strong connection, and it's just really hard to kind of step away from everything that they're feeling towards one another. And they're both like, we have this grumpy sunshine dynamic. They go very well together, and they both have something that the other person needs. They balance each other out just so well. But they literally go on such a beautiful journey of discovery and falling in love, and also healing from things that they've gone through, or things that they are currently going through in their lives. And both of them kind of help and support each other on this physical journey, but also on this emotional journey that is ultimately the reason why they are hiking this trail. So I love this book. It was just very beautiful, and I really enjoyed Anita Kelly's writing. I feel like they really captured these characters just very well. This is an MM romance, and Alexi and Ben are just the sweetest characters. Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. This is a recent read of mine, and one that has been very popular over on Bookstagram, and I think that it is absolutely worth the read, and I am so happy that Cara Bastone is just blowing up and that people are really enjoying her books, because she is a fantastic writer. This is a surprise pregnancy book about Eve. Eve gets pregnant during a one-night stand, okay? And the father of her child has a lot of complicated things going on in his personal life that is affecting his ability to potentially co-parent with her. A situation where she's pregnant without it being planned. Also, she may not have a lot of support from the father of her child. And in steps her friend, Shep. Okay, Shep and her have been friends for quite a while. Shep is there for Eve throughout her entire pregnancy. And so we get to see friends to lovers romance unfold. And there's just so many beautiful things that Eve realizes on this journey of family and love, and what that looks like and what that means. And this journey that's wasn't planned and very unexpected ends up being the best thing that ever happens to her. So this book gave me all of the like happy vibes. Like this book was so happy. This book made me smile. It is so cute, kind of like a slice of life kind of book. Okay, it's not a lot of drama and things like that. The focus is really on Eve and what she's going through, and her life unfolding and falling in love, and just all of the complexities that come with life. And I think this is one that you should absolutely have on your list. I have Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This is one of my personal favorites from last year. I loved this book so much. I was surprised by honestly how much I loved it, but this cover this cover screams spring. There's just all these flowers. Our heroine is like owns her own flower shop. Like, I don't understand how it could get more spring than this. But if you know anything about Sarah Adams, she writes soft romances. She writes rom-coms, so this is the perfect book to read around this time of year. This is a small town romance with a lot of heart. So we're following Annie is a good girl, okay? And she's very horrible at dating, okay? She just hasn't had a lot of success at it. Really wants to change that. You know, she really wants to make a change in her life. She wants to date, she wants to have a relationship, and she's really looking to kind of improve in this area. And basically her almost sister-in-law, her brother is getting married and to a pop star. Sister-in-law's bodyguard, his help to kind of help her date, give her some tips so she can like date. They spend a whole lot of time together, and during their time together, they start falling for one another, practicing. So like there's this line of like, what's real, what's not real. He's just helping me. No, this is real. Like, he's being real and honest with me. And our hero doesn't really believe in love. Okay, he doesn't really do this. So like, she doesn't know what's real, and he is hardcore denying. There is some fake dating in this book as well, which makes it even more fun and makes it interesting as to, you know, kind of questioning what's real and what's not. I loved Annie and his dynamic. Okay, she's all sunshine, and he is definitely the complete opposite. He is broody, and he doesn't have the best opinions about love and relationships, and she's a complete opposite. And so Annie really pulls something out of Will that I think he even didn't even know kind of was within him. But when he met Annie, she just naturally brought that out of him, and Will bring something good out of Annie. And I love their dynamic. It was really so sweet, and the sexual tension in this book is chef's kiss. This is closed door, but I didn't miss the steam at all because Sarah Adams is very good at what she does. Being small town, there's a lot of small town shenanigans. Okay, the townsfolk definitely have a lot to say about Annie. Love this book. You know, things get blurred, like I said, between what's real and what's not. And they have a lot of things that are boiling to the surface that they're going to have to deal with. Criminally underrated book. And that is Georgie All Along by Kate Clayborn. As I have said a couple times on my channel, Kate Clayborn is underrated, okay? She is an amazing writer in this romance genre, and I really just love her books so much. Okay, following Georgie. Okay, Georgie has just lost her personal assistant's job and back in her small town, and she's really struggling with a lot of things right now. She's really questioning what she's doing with her life, what's next, what does she want to do, who does she want to be. Like, she just has a lot of questions and things that she's going through in her life right now. And she is just staying in town for a little bit. Her best friend is pregnant, and her husband just moved back to where they grew up. So she's moving back to be closer to her friend. She actually finds this notebook that she had in high school, and she's kind of hoping that this will kind of reignite kind of her spark kind of for life, kind of guide her way back to who she was, because she wrote so many inspiring things in that notebook. She's trying to find that inner person again. Now, in the process, she doesn't really expect to run into Levi Fanning. He is the kind of reformed bad boy. He's a small town grump. Levi is actually staying at her parents' house. Her parents did not tell her that. So they're kind of roommates, okay? Him and his dog are also staying at her parents' house. And Levi has a lot going on in his personal life, and we kind of find out more about why he's so grumpy and kind of more about his background. I and Georgie both have, like I said, just a lot of different things going back in their life, but they have this connection and they're just drawn to each other. And through that, they're able to kind of work through some of those things and kind of break down their walls and really find comfort and support and safety within one another. Wonderful story of like forgiveness and like forgiving yourself, and also giving yourself grace to have that time to figure out who you are and what you want to be, and it can happen at any phase in your life. And Kate Claiborne is really great about writing really relatable storylines like this and really relatable characters. So this is just such a heartwarming romance with a lot of heart, very heartfelt romance that I think more people should pick up. So last but not least, we have Sweet Hand by Angie Peltier. So this is the first book in her Island, I think it's Island Bites. Yes, Island Bites series, a Black romance that's set in Trinidad, and we're following Charisse. She's a baker. She has her own bakery. Producer Kieran. So Charisse and Kieran don't get along. Okay, they're not friends. They butt heads. They're enemies. Her and Kieran's best friend are getting married, and they are both in the wedding maid of honor, and he's the best man. So obviously they have to spend a lot of time together. They have to help with the wedding. As they're forced to spend more time together, they're also forced to kind of why they have this pull to one another, why they have such undeniable chemistry, although they hate each other's guts. And so that is what these two are dealing with. They are trying to fight their feelings for one another. There's a lot going on in this book. I loved it. I think books that surround weddings are perfect for this time of year. This book is definitely spent more time with these two characters being engaged with the wedding, which I really liked. And the setting is beautiful. This was just a really fun book, so if you just want something very lighthearted and cute. For my spring recommendations, now I'm going to talk about my spring TBR books that I'm looking forward to. These are mostly books that are coming out in April and May. Some books that are coming out later on in the year, like June, July, in another video. But we're just going to talk about some spring romance releases that are coming up that are like more recent, okay, coming up in the more recent months here. So the first one is Old Flames and New Fortunes by Sarah Hogle. I don't know too much about this book, but I have enjoyed it. I read Twice Shy. I don't know if I own that one, but I read Twice Shy by Sarah Hogle years ago, and I absolutely loved it. So this cover, I'm just going to be honest, it doesn't interest me, but I saw an edit on Instagram that looked so cute. I'm just not a fan of I don't know, this cover doesn't really make me want to read it. I have to hear about a book or see an edit for me to pick up that kind of book. Honestly, if I'm being honest, if it has that kind of cover, then I'm gonna have to, I need to see a review or an edit for me to want to read it, you know? Anyway, so this says this is a steamy second chance romance about a magical florist's unexpected reunion with her high school sweetheart as she fake dates his soon-to-be stepbrother. Very interesting. I like second chance romances, and the florist part, again, just makes me think of spring. So this book sounds perfect for spring, and I think it is already out. I think it came out on the 2nd. Okay, next we have How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. This book comes out April 9th, and this says that Helen is a best-selling YA romance author, and her book is being made into a series adaptation. She moves to LA, earning herself a coveted spot in the writer's room, alongside long-term screenwriter Grant Shepard. This is Helen's big break, and she should be excited. The issue, Helen shares a complex and emotionally charged past with Grant following an event that took place when they were in high school. So this book has really great reviews, and this is a screenwriter for People We Meet on Vacation, adaptation by Emily Henry. I'm very excited. So I have to read this book just to kind of get a vibe for her writing, okay? To see if she could be trusted. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But this book sounds really, really good, angsty, and I'm excited to read. Okay, so then we have Savory It by Tara DeWitt. This is coming out in May. I just can't remember exactly the date, but it comes out in May. This says it is filled with spicy summer fun, small town charm, big feelings. So Tara DeWitt is one of my favorite authors of all time. She wrote Funny Feelings, which is my favorite romance, okay? And I'm really excited for Savory It. You know, she said it's her favorite book that she's written, and this cover is beautiful. I have an ARC. I'll actually be reading it this month, very, very soon. So very excited to read this one, and I'm just really, really excited to read it because I know it's going to be amazing. I just I'm going to read it, and then I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? That's the dilemma that I've been in for months. Okay, and then we have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I want to say this one also comes out on the 9th. I could be wrong. I could be very, very wrong. This is a single dad small town romance. That's all I know about it. This is her first book in her new small town series. She has been raving about this hero Ford. I'm just very excited to try a new series from Elsie because I love Chestnut Springs so much. But Hopeless was such a letdown, and I'm just really need like a redeeming book from Elsie. So I'm excited for this one. This is getting some good early reviews, so I have a good feeling about it. And I love this cover. I just love all the pink. Next is When I Think of You by Maya Ariel. This is actually a debut book. In this sweeping second chance, the unexpected spark of two former flames may force them to choose between their dreams and each other. Again, I love second chance romance. Sounds angsty, and I'm excited to read a debut book by this author. And then another debut is The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. So a struggling event planner and a sinfully hot, love it, astronaut must decide if their fake relationship is worth the shot at happily ever after. I need it, okay? That sounds so cute. Why are they fake dating? I don't know. But can I get a hot astronaut man? Okay. All right. Next we have Taming VII. You guys, I need to read Redeeming 6, so I have to read Redeeming really, really soon. But Taming VII is the next book in the Boys of Tolman series. Each book has actually been 2 books, and this one is 1 book, so I'm so curious to see, like, to read this book. Like, it's just 1 book from her. It's not like 2 books, because anyway. Okay, so this is a new adult YA. I don't really like this being in the YA section. It's not like it's overly, like, sexual in the content, but it's just really, really heavy, and I think it should be geared towards new adults rather than young adults, in my opinion. Okay, this is a friends to lovers, angsty romance, and this is Claire Gibson's book, which apparently the fans and the Boys of Tolman series are just out of control anyway, but there's a lot of anger about Claire Gibson. I've always, because when I read Binding 13, Chloe Walsh had not come back to writing yet. She took a little break from writing, and it was like a big question mark on if she was ever going to return, because at this point she wasn't writing anymore. So literally from day one, I have shipped Claire Gibson, and so I am very happy, and I'm very happy to see what she's going to do. I think we should all just trust Chloe Walsh to make the right decision for our characters, and I think that this is going to be an amazing book, and I'm very, very excited. Nervous, she's going to break my heart, but she's going to put it back together, and we're going to be okay. All right, last but not least is Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles. This is a hate to love, enemies to lovers. I'm just reading the tropes here. This is what it says. Brother's best friend, ex-profiler, a hilarious grandma, found family, serial unaliver, age gap, forced proximity, grumpy sunshine, a belt scene, touch her and die vibes, and a broken hero. All buzzwords that I love, but all things that Catherine Cowles does such a good job with. This is the first book in her next series. This cover is insane. I'm so obsessed with all the colors. Catherine has the best covers, like consistently. Her covers are amazing, very beautiful, and they really like capture her books very, very well. But I'm very excited for this book. We got a little hint or a little glimpse into the hero in the last book. I think it was, yeah, in Ashes of Youth. So I'm very excited for this one. I think that this is going to be such a great book, and I'm really, really excited to read it. This comes out in May. Taming VII comes out in April. Sorry, I was not very clear. Kiss Countdown also comes out in April. Sorry, like I'm all over the place. I'll just kind of go over some things before I end out this video. First things first. So me, Tiffany from Tiff Talks Pages, Samantha from Books with Samantha, Ava from Ava's Romance Books, and Christy from Christy Reads a Lot. We announced on our Instagram that we're going to be hosting a Bridgerton watch along here on YouTube. So basically, we're all going to be watching the season in anticipation for this season, for season 3. And we'll come back and we'll have our live shows, and we will discuss each season. We'll have 4 live shows to break down the season, so first and second season, and season 3 is broken up into 2 parts. We're going to be having live shows to discuss the seasons. We're not going to be watching them together. and I will have the schedule up here, but you can also check out all of our Instagram pages. I know some of us posted it on our pages. I have it saved in my highlight. Some of the other hosts may have it saved to their highlights as well. But this is the live show schedule. We have our first live show on my channel on April 20th. So if you have been wanting to rewatch Bridgerton, come hang out with us and chat. Or if you're watching it for the first time, this is a good time to do it, and you will finish it in time for the new season. So I'm very excited. We're not reading the books or anything. We're just going to be talking about the TV show. I'm very excited. Cannot wait to chat all things Bridgerton. I'm excited for my rewatch. I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope to see you all there on our live show at April 20th and all the other following live shows on our YouTube channels as well. Okay, and after this video, I'm going to be doing a Q1 wrap-up. That's going to be coming out hopefully this week, and I'm going to be wrapping up the books I loved. I'm also going to be incorporating TV and movies, so I'm very excited for that. And I'm going to have a vlog coming for you guys very soon. So that's kind of my schedule. Videos to look forward to. Let me know if you guys have any recommendations for me. Let me know if anything you guys want to see. I would definitely give you guys what you all want. So thank you all so much for watching. Inspired by that astronaut book. So leave me like the little rocket ship emoji if you've made it to the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.